now we're going to make a band for the outside of the box. It's going to, or the holder, that's going to run all the way around from the side to the front and to the side again. And we need two things for this. First, we need a piece of light pink cardstock, or whatever color, it doesn't matter, as long as it coordinates with what you've been using as your box, okay? And a lot of pinks in this box, so that's why I've picked the light pink cardstock. And you want to cut that piece to measure 1 3/4 inches by 11 inches, okay? So essentially an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock, cut 2 inches wide, because the rest of it's 11, okay? And then you'll want a piece of your coordinating double-sided paper, a strip of it, and you want it to be 11 inches long as well, but only an inch wide. And what's going to happen is you're going to mount this piece to the top of this piece in the center, and you're going to wrap it around the box. Now, to make the wrapping around the box a little bit easier, I've already taken the measurements for where I should score this strip. So what I'm going to do first, though, just to make it even easier, is I'm going to adhere these two pieces together. So I'm simply going to use my double-sided tape runner and run a line of tape all the way down. I like to put on a lot of tape because I do find, even though this is really good, this Tombow stuff, that it does have a tendency, if you don't put enough on, to let go, especially when you're wrapping things around. And you want to center this on this piece from top to bottom, and it's going to go right to one end to the other end. So center that. I'm just eyeballing it. And give it a good rub down. Oops. Okay. Now, I want to score 2 lines on this, so it's going to wrap around my box easier. And so all I'm going to do, and you can do it on the reverse side or whatever, I'm just going to do it on this side. It doesn't matter. And I'm going to put my first score line at 4 3/8. So 4, 1, 2, 3/8. Just give it a good score. And my second mark at 6.5. So 6.5. Right here. Okay. Now again, you could just use your ruler and a bone folder for this, but I find the score board is so much easier. So let's get the scoreboard out of the way. And let's bring our box. And so you can see, we're going to give this a good crease. Use our bone folder. And we'll do it on the other side. Okay, so now we've got our piece, and you see what it's going to do? You're going to just adhere it right there to the front. Now, it's going to stick up a little bit above that lip, but that's okay. That doesn't matter at all. If that really bothers you, you can cut a little shorter piece, I suppose. So, to glue this, again, use whatever glue you prefer, whatever is going to hold best. And I'm using, again, my tape runner. And I'm going to put quite a bit of this on here because this is going to get handled quite a bit. And now, just line it up. Sticky, sticky, sticky. Okay, let's see if we can get those folds where we want them. There we go. And then, oops, make sure you get it even with the bottom of the box, and around to the other side. A little crooked. Okay, so now that you've got the band on the box at the bottom, the card holder, then what we're going to do is make the rosette that's going to go on here. So to make the rosette, there's different ways you can make rosettes. This is the way I do it with the envelope punch board. I take a sheet of my paper, 12 inches by 1.5 inches wide, and then at 1/2 inch markings all the way along, I just score. Now you could do this with a scoreboard like I have here, or you could do it with a pen, with a bone folder and a ruler, okay? But at each 1/2 inch, so you start at the edge, 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, etc., all the way to the end. And then you want to take this and you want to score or fold at the score marks, and you want to crease it really, really well. Okay, I'm just using my fingers on each fold for this. The thing I have found is if these are not really well creased, then trying to pop the rosette out is very, very difficult. And I'm not going to pretend that this is really easy, because I don't find it easy. I find I'm all thumbs when it comes to making one of these things, but the end result's worth it. Alright, so you make sure it's all accordion folded along the creases, along the score marks really well. Then you grab your envelope punch board, and I have mine right here, okay, and you're going to punch the petals. Now the way to do this with the envelope punch board is, let's take a look at how this is designed. Inside here, where my finger's going, maybe I'll use my phone folder. You see this little part right in here? There's a little metal cutting blade in here. That's for the punches. So what you want to do is you want to line that little post up with the center of each of your creases, okay, on here. So the first punch you're going to do is you're going to go to your first fold, and the reason I fold it in advance is so I can see my crease lines for this. You put it under the punch, center it, and so this is my, and it's very difficult to show this on camera, but this is my fold line right here, okay, and I'm centering it under that post and punching it. Now I'm going to skip one crease and go to the next crease. I'm calling them creases. I don't know, score lines. I guess that's what I should be calling them. And punch that again. So you have this kind of pattern. Skip one, go to the next one, center it, punch. Skip one, go to the center of the next one, punch. Skip one, punch. And you do this all the way to the end. Every other score line. So let me just finish this up here to show you the end product. And the last one. Now, this last piece right here, you want to take your scissors, if I can find my scissors, and you want to cut that off. So the very last score line, you're just going to cut that off. Alright, let's move this out of the way. Next thing you're going to do is you want to glue this end, bend it around. Am I in this camera shot? Here we go. Bend it around and glue this one on the top. And you see, these are going to match up. Alright, now for gluing it, I have found, because you're going to be pushing this around quite a bit, I found a piece of score tape probably works the best for this. So let me get a small piece of score tape. You could use a wet glue. It just means you're going to have to wait for it to dry, but it's got to be a strong one. I've tried a tape runner, and sometimes it works, depends on the paper, sometimes it doesn't work. And that's another thing. Sometimes the paper you use could be too thick, and when you start trying to manipulate it into a rosette, I've had it tear. It just weakens because it's so thick. Now, this is how I get the top off the score tape, because I don't have fingernails. So I just use a little piercing tool and pull that off. Let's move these things out of the way. Alright, so you put this other end on top of that. You know, I don't think I've made a video yet where my clock hasn't chimed, or my watch. Gotta do something about that. Okay, so there you go. You got a little crown kind of thing. Doesn't hurt to kind of go around and fold these in and give them another little crease. Like I said, the more that they're creased, the easier it's going to be. Now, put the little points of your crown face down, and you see this is going to start forming a little circle. So kind of get all the folds so they're facing inwards, and this is where you crush it. Now, this is the part I have a lot of difficulty with. So you see, I start crushing it from one side, and if somebody's got a better idea of how to do this, I'd appreciate knowing how, because I really find no matter how much I crease the paper, I still get this problem. You see, you're being really kind of tough on this. Alright, that's not working on that side. So let's go over here and try and get these to go down. I am all thumbs when this this kind of thing. Eventually you can get it to shape into the rosette. Eventually. Like, would help if I could get it into there now. Hey, well, with the beauty of, or the magic of YouTube, here's what I did a few minutes ago, and I got it to start to shape. And you see, when you get the folds in, you get it pushed down. Then I go around and I pinch all of these just to give it another good crease. And there's my rosette. Now, how do you get it to all stay like that? Well, there's different ways you can do it. One way I really like is you take your nonstick craft sheet, you put a bead, well, a little puddle, basically, of hot glue on it, and take this and stick it down on top of that, hold it for a couple of seconds, and presto bingo, it sticks. However, I'm going to be doing this at a workshop, and we're not going to have a glue gun, probably handy, although I could take mine, I suppose, and do that. But I experiment with another method, and one of those methods is to cut two little circles using just a punch. You can cut them out by hand too, I suppose. And I've cut these out of some of the paper that I already used to make the card holder. And take your pop dots, large ones, okay? So they come on a roll, you know how that works, okay? And I put a pop dot on, don't get it on camera, put a pop dot in the center of one. Okay, I'm stuck to the pop dot. Alright. Jeez, am I ever a klutz today. Okay, here we go. And pop dot on this one. Okay, so I've got a pop dot basically in the center of each one of those. So take one of them, just move that one out of the way, just stick into my fingers. Okay, people, this is becoming a comedy routine. Put down, move that out of the way. Get your rosette in shape, kind of pick it up best you can and slam it down into the middle of that. Now, that was holding pretty good, but I like to put one on each side because the whole thing will pop up. And then I give it a little schmuck around here, so it kind of spreads that pop dot along the veins here. And there you go. There's the little rosette. Okay, now the rosette, here's my card holder. Rosette is going to go right on here, and you just fasten that with whatever glue you want to do that. You can do it with another pop dot, whatever, and make sure that the bottom pedal is flush with the bottom of the box. If it hangs out over the side, then your box isn't going to sit flat. Okay, so that's how you do the rosette. And when I come back, I'm going to show you how to do the other little embellishments on the side of the box. Okay, so for the last part of the embellishments for the card holder box itself, we're going to attach a 30-inch, approximately a 30-inch piece of ribbon that coordinates with the box, and I've picked a light pink. And the first thing you're going to do is take adhesive. I find using my tape runner works really well in this. And about halfway down from the top of the box, about in the middle, you're going to run a strip of your adhesive. Now you could use glue dots for this if you wish, or you could use a wet glue, whatever you've got. And just eyeballing it a little bit here, about where the halfway point is, you're going to stick your ribbon. Okay, I'm getting out of the camera shot here, so just put your ribbon onto that, glue it down. Now don't worry if your glue is going to show here, because we're going to cover that up in a minute. But now you've got, let's get this stuff out of the way. Now you've got your tie. What will happen is when we make the top of the box, this is really awkward right now to show this, but when we make the top part of the box that goes inside here, covers up what the contents, then this ribbon comes around and you tie a bow in the front. You'll see that in a while. Alright, so on the sides we want to put some butterflies, and so what I did was I used my Cricut and I pre-cut 3 different sizes of butterflies. I have a large die cut, I have a medium size, and then I have a little smaller one. And you don't have to use a Cricut for this. You could use a punch, a hand punch, or whatever you have for making it. Of course, I'm doing butterflies. You don't have to do butterflies. You can do whatever you want for your box. What I did with the butterflies is I layered them. So I take two of the large ones and I put whatever you call these, a dimensional square, I guess, in this case a dimensional circle, in the center, and I lay my medium butterfly just on top of that, lined up here. And so now I've got a sort of a 3D effect. Okay, so that's what I did with these two. I did the same thing with this third butterfly, except instead of two large and a medium, or two large butterflies with two medium butterflies, I used one medium butterfly with a smaller butterfly. Your preference. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little adhesive on the back of my butterfly, and I'm going to glue this right there in the center across the ribbon. And so you see it'll hide the glue that's holding the ribbon. Then on each side of the box, I'm going to put one of these larger butterflies. So again, a little adhesive, side of the box, and put it wherever you like. I'll put my hand inside. There we go. That's stuck on that side, and I'm going to do the same on the opposite side. Again, you can use whatever your favorite adhesive is for this part. Just get the ribbon out of the way so I don't glue the ribbon on there. And center it along here. And I cut my butterflies out of the pattern paper that I'm using for the box holder itself. And there we go. So now we've got the card holder complete. Now what we want to work on are the inserts that'll hold the cards for the box.